Hi everyone, welcome to my social justice project. I found this assignment really encouraging because there are so many ways to involve students, even very young students, in the view that everyone deserves to enjoy the same social rights regardless of ethnicity, socioeconomic status, gender, or other characteristics. Teaching social justice in the classroom is critical for preparing children to become responsible global citizens that take care of each other. The article I read was titled Making All Children Winners, Confronting Social Justice Issues to Redeem America's Soul, and was published in the Journal of Educational Administration. This article discussed the importance of engaging students, parents, teachers, school leaders, and communities as equal partners in the quest for quality education for all. Leadership should come from the collective community wisdom, not by one person alone at the top of a chain of command. There needs to be space where the least powerful, the most often silenced, can speak and be listened to. Quality education must be viewed as a civil right for all of America's children. The problems that plague the underserved population of students is the responsibility of society as a whole. In a country such as ours that places value on freedom and justice for all, none of our children are free until all are free of inferior education. All students must learn social responsibility, what it means to be a citizen of the nation and of the world. Disenfranchised communities must advocate for themselves the quality education, dispelling the myth that families of color or those living in poverty don't value their education. Families of all kinds must be made central to the academic system, and school leaders must value the wisdom of the community. Children and their families must be at the center of school change and decision making. The article asks the question of, should we be allowing legislators, district administrators, school principals, textbook publishers, and the like to solely make decisions about what could be argued as the most important journey a human takes? And is it right that those people alone are determining the educational curriculum for other people's children? So the article spoke of how we truly engage students in equitable education reform. One of the key ideas was that students take the lead. Students need to participate in the research process to become invested in a cause. Students are the expert on their own experiences and should share their perspectives with various people, which includes peers, families, school staff, and the community at large. In addition to gaining awareness, performing, researching, and sharing experiences, children need to work to find solutions to challenges facing their schools and communities. Another important aspect of engaging students is student exposition. In the culture of high-stakes testing, the opportunity for students to display personal work and ideas is really important. It is crucial to recognize achievement and success in terms other than just a test score. Student-led initiatives are a great motivator and instill a great deal of pride and joy. The most impressive initiatives are relevant to the students, their backgrounds, their environment, and the setting of their school. So for my second grade justice project, there are a few different steps involved. There's an introduction to get students thinking about justice in the world of education, and I would like to have the class participate in an exercise demonstrating inequality and what it's like to be on both sides of the equation. And then they would complete an If I Were project, which will allow students to think about equality issues and interview members of their family as well as their community. Through this research, they will identify what others have experienced and value. There will be a student exposition where students will share their thoughts and findings in an exhibit that various community members will be asked to attend. As well as there's extension activities where students will take their activism one step further with planning a lunch combining students of various grades and backgrounds, providing meaningful conversation starters, and open up a dialogue. So for the introduction, we will begin with an opening activity designed to get students thinking about equality in resources and achievement. Half the class will be given unlimited art supplies to create a piece of artwork to display, while the other half of the class will be given just one crayon and one piece of notebook paper. The groups will switch places to experience both sets of circumstances. And we will tell their students that their artwork will be on display so that they can showcase their talents. An alternative activity would be to use Legos to convey a similar message. You could break the class into small groups with a pile of Legos and ask them to copy the Lego structure you displayed and built. Some students would be given just the Legos with no restrictions, while other groups would be forced to wear mittens, a blindfold, only use tongs, etc. This would also drive home the point of fairness or lack thereof. We get students' reaction to the activity by engaging them in an open discussion, asking questions such as, how did it feel to complete the project when you had only one crayon? How did it feel with unlimited supplies? Is it fair for some students to have better materials than others? Which of your drawings do you like better? Would it be fair if my school had a brand new library full of wonderful books and your school only had a few used, tattered books? After having this in-depth discussion, I would ask students to think about how we can make the school in general fair and equal for all students. I would start the discussion about how all children have the right to a quality education. I would have students talk to parents, sibling friends, or any other community member about their ideas on how we can ensure that all Americans receive a good education. Students will display their thinking and knowledge acquired from others in a piece of art to be displayed. The title of their work will be If I Were President, and it will include their ideas on how to ensure that each child receives the schooling that they deserve. Students will have some freedom to decide how they would like to create their end product. Students could create a book, a poster, write poetry, or compose a short story, whatever medium they feel most comfortable with in sharing the ideas. You could adjust this exercise to If I Were Principal, or etc. Through this activity, students investigate how to create a better, more just world, examining issues of fairness, empathy, compassion, and positive action. Students will display their work for parents, teachers, peers, and community members, personally inviting them to their exposition. I myself would personally place a phone call to each family asking them to attend and briefly explain why it's an important project for them to be a part of. This exhibit will include the original drawings from the opening activity with both the plentiful and the minimal resources. A discussion of how we can make education fair for all students will ensue, with specific actions outlined. We will choose one action item as a group to brainstorm solutions to. And our action item could be very simple or it could be something more complex. When I was researching this topic, I came across an activity called Mix It Up. And it's a wonderful extension activity. It's a Mix It Up lunch, which asks students to sit by someone they don't usually interact with at lunch and engage in positive conversation. The goals of Mix It Up, according to www.tolerance.org, which is where I found the wealth of information about this activity, is to encourage students to identify, question, and cross social boundaries. This simple activity can have a profound impact. This activity does require a great deal of planning and support from various staff members and colleagues. 2 or 3 teachers from varying grade levels can assist students with the planning group. Tasks can be assigned to different classrooms. Older students could be responsible for writing conversation starters, while younger students could create the decorations. When it's time for the event, students are given something as they walk into lunch, like a color-coded card, a small candy, a playing card, some kind of alphabet, magnet, letter, something to designate which table they will be sitting at. Starter questions would be on these tables, and enough questions would be provided to avoid any lulls in conversation. Questions would be open-ended and allow for students to elaborate when they wanted to. Something like, what's your favorite song, movie, book, sport, restaurant, etc. Or ask students to describe something like their perfect home or their best day. Adults could help facilitate conversation and we could even reach into the community to call on volunteers. We could invite school board members, community leaders, service club members, or anyone willing to take on this role for the day. An important step in the Mix It Up process is debriefing and evaluating the event. At the most basic level, teachers can simply ask students by a show of hands whether they enjoyed the event and would like to be part of it again in the future. Another forward step in student activism could be a service club where students participate in a community event on a monthly basis that helps students cross social boundaries and work together for the greater good. My third grade daughter and I participate in a service club at her school. They meet twice a month, pick a cause, and carry out monthly service projects. We have provided grilled hamburgers to homeless people in the park and put together bags of foods for these individuals and families. We have participated in Rake Up Boise and gone to play bingo at the Veterans Home. Having direct contact with people whose lives are much different than her own has absolutely broadened my daughter's perspective on social issues. As a teacher, I would highly recommend my students participate in these kinds of events and would be happy to be a leader. Through these explorations and activities about fairness, I would hope that my students would gain a social consciousness and compassion for others. Here are the works that I used as resources, and thank you for listening.